Right now at 6, a family dispute at an apartment in Janesville ends in tragedy.
And a scam in Onalaska fooling residents with official-looking invoices. The city's warning and what to watch out for.
Watching WKBT La Crosse, this is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Emily Brown.
And I'm Ken Kozarowski.
We start with an email scam in Onalaska targeting your money.
It's so good that officials are warning residents about it. News 8 Now's Grace Monk is live in the newsroom tonight with how it works.
If you receive an email from a city official claiming that you owe money, you should ignore it and immediately report it. There's an email scam going around on Alaska that is so good it could be true.
One person actually took it to the bank to try to wire money, and the bank actually stopped them.
People have received emails with an invoice saying they owe the city thousands of dollars. It's an email that contains an invoice for recipients to wire transfer the amount listed. The city says the scam is hard to spot because it looks official and contains real information.
They stole the branding off of our website and used the branding on the invoice to make the invoice look real.
Along with the city's logo, the scam contains the name of city employees and information from meeting agendas.
We decided to make phone calls to some people that had projects going on and just make sure that it's not happening to them as well. Well, we found out a few other ones had gotten it and just didn't do anything about it.
Olinger says AI has made online scams more realistic.
This one is really difficult, even from an email standpoint. The only reason why you would notice that it's not one of our emails is our emails always end in onalaskawi.gov. This email ended in @usa.gov.
The other giveaway is that they're asking for money on behalf of the city.
The city of Onalaska, and I would assume most other cities, are never going to ask you to wire money. They are either going to have a dedicated online payment system or you can go and pay in person.
Olinger encourages anyone that has given information or money to a scam to contact their local police department. And anyone that receives the email in Onalaska is encouraged to report it to the city. Reporting in the newsroom, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
Developing out of Janesville tonight, police say a family fight turns deadly. Around 11 a.m., police responded to an apartment complex for a family problem. A 911 call for shots fired then followed. Police found 3 adults dead from gunshot wounds and another with critical injuries.
Paramedics respond into the scene, not knowing how much danger was there, but in an effort to try to preserve and save this individual's life. With their assistance, we were able to extract that individual and transport them to a local hospital where they are still suffering life-threatening injuries.
Chief Pearson says there's no threat to the community, but they are not identifying anyone involved. The scene is under investigation.
The Vernon County Sheriff's Department needs your help. Someone vandalized the men's shower building at Sadie Hollow Park, ripping the sink off the wall. Sheriff Torgerson says it happened sometime yesterday between 8:30 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Taxpayer has a stake in it, but our visitors do as well, and they're upset about this because so much work goes into making and keeping these parks beautiful.
If anyone has any information, call the Vernon County Sheriff's Department or Crime Stoppers at 608-637-TIPS.
A rare unanimous decision for Wisconsin's Supreme Court. All 7 justices siding with the state attorney general. Josh Kaul sued over several lame duck laws the legislature passed in 2018, which allowed the legislature's budget committee to approve any civil settlements the attorney general's office makes. In the ruling today, conservative Justice Brian Hagedorn writes that the legislature can't control litigation that Kaul is legally undertaking. Kaul in a statement today says, quote, the Wisconsin Department of Justice will be able to more efficiently resolve the cases that are impacted by this decision, including civil actions enforcing our consumer protection laws and civil actions enforcing our environmental protection laws. Cotter Schools in Winona is sending out a community alert. A safety training is happening tomorrow at St. Nicholas Hall. It'll involve law enforcement, educators, and school administrators. People in the area can expect to see more police around. More information is posted on Cotter Schools' Facebook page.
2 Winona Catholic parishes will close this summer. St. Casimir and St. Nepomucene are struggling with declining attendance and a shortage of priests. The Diocese of Winona-Rochester announced Winona has seen a 48% decline over the last 15 years.
So a lot of mixed emotions, I would say, and that's, if you talk to anybody here, That's what you're going to find. A lot of mixed emotions, just searching and trying to figure out what's the best for each individual family.
Doors will close in mid-July. Father Thompson says he will work with Catholic Charities to put the buildings to use.
Well, you could certainly feel the humidity today. And a lot of good sunshine, which was nice. But Greg, you're tracking some rain potential for some of the area tomorrow, and then the heat wave this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, two things, and we got storms in between. The humidity levels did come down a little bit today, so that was a little bit more refreshing as you go further north. But yeah, we do have rain coming back in. That boundary to the south can provide rain really for areas south of I-90 later tonight. Even this evening is a little bit of activity out there, but right now there's your high temperatures, all in the 80s and upper 70s, quite average. Overall, what you would expect. Now, dew points, these are the dew points. We have come back down. Yesterday we're almost to the 70-degree mark for dew points. That moisture has pushed south, but not too far. It's just into Iowa right now, and that's where a boundary exists, upper 50s to the north. So just a little bit cooler, more comfortable up to there. There's your percent, relative percent, and I've showed that because all the precipitation down the south beginning to approach the area is going to struggle to reach the ground for a little bit of while with these hard RHs that are in the 40%, 50% range. So eventually that will make its way up there. So right now, Decorah, you might see a few sprinkles all into northeast Iowa, but a lot of this, once again, is just cloud cover, not quite reaching the ground. It will later tonight, but for this evening, Eau Claire, no issues. A few clouds out there, upper 60s, very pleasant conditions. Same story for La Crosse, maybe a little bit more cloud cover coming up. Overall, you might see a sprinkle south the area as you get closer to midnight, but overall should remain dry, up lower 70s. Overnight temperatures where the clouds are more in the 60s, more 50s to the north. Then as we go out there we go, kind of not going, it's kind of going a little slow there. There we go. We're looking at temperatures getting back up in the 80s, but we do have the showers and thunderstorm chance Thursday, Friday, and like you said, we got the heat that's coming up this weekend too. All right, thank you, Greg.
Well, Winona officials are looking to bring the city a new skate park.
Yeah, the early price tag, though, more than $500,000. News 8 Now's Allison Fergut is here with the story.
Minnesota recently awarded Winona a $550,000 grant to help it build a long-awaited outdoor skate park.
A new outdoor skate park is coming to Winona, offering more places for skaters to practice their kickflips.
Skateboarding should be available to everybody.
Zach Craig owns Winona's Anthem Skate Park. He has a partnership with the city and manages its indoor park. He's been a strong advocate for Winona getting a free outdoor skating option.
I grew up across the street from the pool, and when I was a kid, the pool was $5 a day, and that's too much to have you be able to go every day.
Thanks to a recently approved grant from Minnesota, he's closer to landing his dream park.
The park is going to be a city park run by the city. It just so happens to be next to the indoor park, so it's conveniently going to have year-round skateboarding.
Outside of the usual ramps, the park will also include bike racks, drinking fountains, and shade covers, according to the Winona Post. Craig says it couldn't come at a better time.
As organized sports are in the decline across the country, skateboarding has consistently been growing.
Between 2019 and 2024, the number of Americans skateboarding jumped 40%. It's gaining professional credibility too. The Olympics added the sport to its summer games in 2020.
There's more eyes on skateboarding than there's ever been.
And for the city's young skaters, a new park will be a welcome addition.
I think it's going to be awesome to build a bigger community of skaters.
The city still needs to raise another $80,000 before work on the skate park can get underway. Reporting in the studio, Allison Fergut, News 8 Now.
Happening around the state, Milwaukee breaking ground on a big project, the soon-to-be tallest mass timber building in North America. The Edison will be a 31-story apartment building. Inside, 400 units, a cafe, fitness center, spa, and a movie room. The tower's claim to fame, its building materials. It'll be built with mass timber and sustainable material.
Really, we see this project as more as sustainable. It's incorporating a whole bunch of different health and well-being aspects to the building to really go beyond not just the structure being sustainable, but also the residents inside living a sustainable lifestyle.
The current tallest mass timber building is the Ascent at 25 stories. That building is also in Milwaukee. Still ahead, President Trump meeting with his national security team amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. The U.S. military has stayed out so far, but concerns grow on Capitol Hill.
Plus, a call for tighter security measures for elected officials in the wake of the Minnesota lawmaker shootings.
The The Middle East on edge. Iran and Israel trading strikes on their 5th day of conflict. President Trump met with his national security team at the White House to consider joining Israel's strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. The U.S. military has not been part of strikes over the last 5 days, but Israel is using American-made equipment for its military operation. Some on Capitol Hill say they're concerned American forces could be drawn into the conflict.
The president has shown restraint in the past. The president's instincts are good, and I'm hoping the president will not get involved with the war. I think if the United States actively bombs Tehran, the possibility of negotiation goes out the window.
Trump says he just wants people to be safe, and he posted a warning for people in Tehran to get out of the city. Thousands have been doing exactly that for days now.
Minnesota shooting suspect Vance Belter was taken to federal court yesterday to face murder and stalking charges. That's on top of state charges of murder and attempted murder. Senator Amy Klobuchar spoke about the assassinations of Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband and the attempted killings of Senator John Hoffman and his wife, putting a spotlight on the safety of elected officials.
And I hope this will bring people together so we do something more about security, so we bring down the rhetoric, do something about what's going on online.
Belter is due back in federal court next Friday, June 27th.
We will have more news ahead.
But first,
yeah, we do have wet conditions for some for Wednesday, but then we have a couple rounds of storms maybe Thursday night, Friday, and then followed by a very hot and humid weekend. We'll break it all down for you coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break. And we do have some precipitation. Maybe this evening it's going to be struggling to get some of that to come up here as I showed on radar earlier. But especially later on after midnight, areas south of I-90 you'll start seeing the rain chances increase, maybe become more steadier rain. Now exactly where this cutoff of steadier rain and showers is really kind of up in the air, but it's going to be probably right around I-90. So as we go through the nighttime, some of that activity may persist, but I think most areas will just see cloud cover south. Additional development is likely as we go past midnight further to the south to Decorah as this low gets a little bit closer to the area. Then it'll start spreading northward. The question is how far north does it get? It'll probably be somewhere near I-90 or south. There could be a few showers lingering north of it, but the steadier rain, really the rainy conditions for the morning should remain in the counties to the south. Overall, as you go further north, Eau Claire and areas probably won't see much in the way of precipitation and not in much way of some cloud cover, actually some sunshine in the morning too. But there's your area of light rain that'll persist and continue through the morning, and then eventually as the low pushes to the east, the back edge of that will kind of come through. But you can see La Crosse has an opportunity through the late morning, maybe early afternoon, to see some light rain, periods of light rain. It won't be that much. And then as we go in the afternoon, some of the daytime heating with the sun will probably develop a few showers and thunderstorms along a little bit of a line too. So there's opportunity for rain further north. It's just going to be in the afternoon and isolated to scattered in nature. Then going to the evening, once that activity really diminishes, we should have a quiet condition with clearing skies going later in the night. Now rainfall, it's really going to be a sharp cutoff to who could get quite a bit like Prairie du Chien area to where you don't get much more than 1/10 of an inch for La Crosse and really not much further north. You still could see some spotty areas up towards Eau Claire, given that we could have a little bit of shower thunderstorm in the afternoon, but it'd be very isolated in small amounts. But that's where we'll see it tomorrow. So a lot of areas won't see amount of rain tomorrow. Others will be quite a bit. Temperatures where they have all the rain going on, mid-70s. You go up to further toward I-94, less clouds, more sun. You should get back close to 80. Pretty much close to average too. Now after this passes, Thursday night through Friday night, we have nighttime storms. Really all these storms develop late at night in the Dakotas, Minnesota, and then they dive southeast and usually hit us late at night, early morning. We're going to have a couple opportunities Thursday night and Friday night. Thursday overall, it's not going to be too bad during the day. Could see a little bit of shower with a front that's going to slide south, but once again, this boundary is going to sit right over us, and that's going to provide a weak wave here, and there comes the thunderstorms late Thursday night, early Friday. They'll develop somewhere in Minnesota, Dakotas, slide southeastward, so you could have a very wet, stormy Friday morning commute. It just depends on where this actually tracks. Some areas will get it, some won't. Then going into Friday, we have another opportunity before this whole thing lifts north, and then we get the heat and humidity to the south, and that's what's coming for the weekend. And it could be the danger. We're talking heat indices above 105, so heat risk going on for Friday is not overly too bad yet. Saturday, we get into the major category. In effect, we got some really worse conditions going into Saturday, into Sunday, especially Sunday, given that we could see heat indices above 105 for a moment of time. And then we'll start seeing that kind of drop off. But even Monday could be very warm to hot and humid. But notice to the west, we're starting to see the change. And that means after this heat, we're going to have a very active period going on. As for highs tomorrow, Thursday, we're going back into the 80s, so a little bit jump in the temperatures. And then as we go to Friday, we're going to see temperatures jump up a little bit more in the mid 80s. But the big thing on Friday, well, you'll notice the humidity levels start to go up, and then it gets warm, especially at night with temperatures just barely getting to the mid 70s in some areas. Then it gets stormy next Monday night through Wednesday. That could be a very wet period, and heavy rain potential too coming on next week with that. So enjoy the comfortable temperatures right now, because come Friday and the weekend, a lot of us won't enjoy that hot, humid conditions. But you know, it's the first of the summer, so you knew it was coming eventually.
Eventually. All right. Thanks, Greg. Coming up next in sports, Windy City Showdown. The Brewers and Cubs beginning an important series for divisional positioning. Plus, West Salem girls soccer getting ready for a trip to Milwaukee for state. Jacob is next.
Covering all the exciting action from your community. Here's News 8 Now Sports with Jacob Lenzendorf.
Well, in 3 days, the West Salem girls soccer team will be making history as they take the field at Eline Soccer Park in Milwaukee, as it's the program's first trip to state. The Panthers have been a consistent team all season long with a record of 16 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw, and a 9-1-1 mark in a tough Mississippi Valley Conference. The Panthers used a couple 2-1 victories last week in the sectional rounds to advance, and now they face Catholic Memorial, who has 18 wins in 21 games this season. The Crusaders are the top seed overall and were the runner-up last year. They've got 10 state championships in program history, so the Panthers will have their work cut out for them. Check back in with us at 10 to hear from the West Salem team as they prepare for a momentous match in program history. Well, it's a big one tonight from the north side of Chicago as the top 2 teams in the NL Central clash for their second series of the season. The Cubs boast the second best record in the National League, 1 game behind the Mets. Meanwhile, the Brewers 1 game out of a wild card spot if the season ended today. Tonight's starters, Chad Patrick for Milwaukee and Ben Brown for Chicago. Here's a look at the divisional standings entering the night. The Brewers sitting 5.5 games back of the Cubs and a game and a half above the Cardinals and Reds, who both possess a 37-35 record. First pitch from Wrigley slated for 7:05. And speaking of those Reds, the scuffling Twins in town, and that's a midweek 3-game series from Cincy, Minnesota, entering the night just 2-8 in their last 10 games. This one just got started a little after 6 and is scoreless at last check. And at the top of the hour, the Panthers will go for their second consecutive Stanley Cup title. It's Game 6 from Florida as the Oilers are hoping to get the series back to Canada for a winner-take-all Game 7. Edmonton has only led for 33 minutes and change so far in this series, while the Panthers have been in front for over 200 minutes. I've caught some portions of this series. I still want an NHL team in Wisconsin.
That'd be so much fun.
How do we not have one yet?
I know.
So we got to talk to the higher-ups about that. But a big one for the Brewers tonight.
Yes.
Maybe ball flying out because the winds are, I saw it's a little gusty there.
Wind going out to the outfield instead of going in historically.
Could be a high-scoring game. We'll see.
All right, and Ben Brown has struggled of late. Our resident Cubs fan has said that.
Yeah.
Our producer Noah. So
we've got a few Cubs fans around the office as well.
We do.
It's going to be a fun series.
It sure will be.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jacob.
All right, another look at your forecast right after this.
All right, it should be a quiet evening, and for the most area, La Crosse and Eau Claire northward should be quiet. The rains come back in for La Crosse and southward, closer to the morning commute. So we're looking at those conditions. Wet south of La Crosse. It's going to be drier for Wednesday. A little dry, 86. Notice the storms Thursday night and Friday night storms because the front moves north, and behind that front, it gets hot and humid for the weekend. 90s with heat and seas, probably over 100. So if you got plans, definitely take note of those conditions. They could continue into Monday before things kind of get wet and stormy for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, the weekend looks like a day to have the AC blasting.
I know. I think my electricity went on today. It was awful for a good few hours. All right, thanks for joining us at 6. We'll see you at 10.